Are you curious what's happening with real estate, specifically in the city of Tulare? Well, I've got great news. I've got that information and I'm going to share it with you today. My name's Lori Dunnigan. I'm a local realtor with Keller Williams here in Tulare County. Now, I have people ask me all the time if now is a good time to buy or to sell. Is the market going to crash? What's going on with real estate? And so I've got this report that I've prepared, and I'm going to go over it with you. And this is going to show you factual numbers, not just my opinion. So this is specifically for the city of Tulare. It's for residential properties, single family. It's not going to include manufactured homes or anything like that. Now, if you want to see this report in more detail, just reach out to me. I'm happy to send it to you. Or if you want to see this report for additional areas such as Visalia or Exeter, let me know. I'm happy to create that report as well. So you're going to see that there are some colorful graphs here, and I'm not going to focus on the graphs just because they don't show the actual numbers. And I have a summary report down here that shows actual numbers. So what this report shows is a couple of different things. It's going to show averages and it's going to show medians. Now, average is, just what's the average price point or whatever it is. And the thing I don't like about average numbers is that if there are outliers, they can affect the numbers and throw them off. So, for example, if we had a home listed for $5 million, that would skew the average numbers up. We also have median numbers. And so median would mean, for example, here we have the median sales price of 400,000. What that means is that for what sold in that month, half of the homes were listed below 400,000. The other half of the homes were listed above 400,000, and 400 is that middle point. Now, both medians and average provide useful numbers, but they provide different numbers. So let's look at our numbers here. So first of all, we have a column here for March of 2024, and then we have a column for March of 2025. So we are comparing the same month last year as we are to the same month this year. Real estate can be cyclical, and so this is a good way to look at what's changed. So our absorption rate actually went up. It was 1.82, went up to 2.29. So what this means is that if no new homes came onto the market, it would take us a little over 2 months to sell all of the existing inventory that we have. And what that also tells us is that we are still in a seller's market. All right, average list price. So there was a big jump between this year and last year on the average list price. Last year in March, we're at 409,000. This year we're at 465,000. You guys, that's a jump of $55,000 or 13%. Now, list price doesn't mean sold price because, as you know, sometimes homes have price reductions or they sell for less than asking price. While that's not always the case, I'd like to look at the actual sales price, which we'll do in just a second. But let's look at the median list price. So median list price jumped from $375 up to $395. So that's a $20,000 jump on the median list price. All right, so let's look at what actually sold. Last year, and this is the only category where it actually dropped a little bit, but our average sale price last year was $386,000. It dropped to $381 this year. So that's a drop of about $5,000 on the average sale price, a drop of 1.27%. But again, averages can be skewed. So let's look at what happened with the median sales price. That actually went up by $40,000 or 11%. And so that means that prices of homes, if we're looking at median, were $40,000 more this year over last year. And that's a lot. Okay, so let's look at days on market. So days on market means that from the time a home gets actively put on the market, listed for sale, until it goes under contract, we count those days. And so our median jumped from 26 to 32. So it's taking about a week longer this year over last year for a home to go under contract. The average jumped from 51 to 65. So on average, it's taking about 2 weeks longer to go under contract. So what that means is that it's taking a little bit longer for homes to sell this year than they did last year. Now it's funny because a lot of sellers still have that mindset that we're in the market of right after COVID, where homes were selling within just a few days. And so the idea of it taking a month or two for their home to sell now is hard to wrap your head around sometimes. But a month or two to sell is actually not that long of a time frame. And of course, we have homes that are still selling within a matter of a few days, but we also have homes that are overpriced and sit on the market for an extended amount of time. But on average, median priced home, you're going to be selling within 1 to 2 months. If we look at our year to date, which would be from January to March of 2024 versus January through March of 2025, everything again is still trending up except for the average sale price. That dropped about $10,000, but the median sale price went up about 13,000. And again, that's just from January to March of last year versus this year. Median days on market was 30 for both, which is right around the same as what March was for this year. All right, let's look at what's sold. So a couple of interesting things here. This is broken down by price points. And so the least expensive homes that sold in March of this year, and specifically in the city of Tulare, were priced between 160 and 180, and we had 2 homes that sold in that price range. The most number of homes sold in the price range of 400 to 500,000, which is different than last year, because last year the most number of homes in March sold between the price range of 300 to 400,000. So we are seeing that prices have gone up a little bit. Now, total numbers sold in March last year, we sold 48 homes in the city of Tulare. This year, we only sold 45. That's a drop of 3 homes. Not something that I'm concerned about, but that is a drop of 6.2%. But if we look at year to date, January through March, last year we sold 115. This year we sold 129. So we have actually sold more homes this year than we did last year at the same time period. That's an increase of 12.2%. So let's look a little bit at what's pending. Now, pending means that the seller has accepted an offer from the buyer, but it hasn't closed yet. It's still going through that escrow process. So we actually had 56 homes go pending last March compared to 57 going pending this March. And the difference between pending and sold is that these pending ones we will see most likely in the sold numbers for April. They went pending in March. If it's a 30-day escrow, they'll close in April, assuming they don't fall out of escrow. So pending, we're right about where we were last year. We're actually a little bit higher year to date. So last year we had 145 pending by the end of March, and this year 150 pending. So we're real close to where we were last year, even though some of the numbers are a little bit different. So now we're going to look at active listings. So this is if you were a buyer and you were to go out looking at homes, this is what you would have to choose from, and this would be in all different price points, but again, specifically for the city of Tulare. So last year in March, a buyer would have had 85 homes to choose from, and this year in March, they had 109 homes to choose from. So that means that a buyer has more options this year over last year when looking for a home, and it means sellers have a little bit more competition. But again, we are historically low in the amount of inventory that we have. So even though it's gone up a little bit, it's still considered very low. Year to date, January to March, we had 242 active homes last year, and we had 281 active this year. That's a difference of almost 40 homes. So that would be 40 more homes that a buyer would have to choose from, and 40 more homes that would be competition to a. Now let's compare that to new listings. So active listings means the home is available for sale. A new listing means that the home is also available, but it just came available in the month of March or in this time period. So last year and this year are the same. We had 72 new homes come on the market in both years for the month of March, available for sale. Year to date, though, we've actually had more new listings come on the market. So we had 174 last year, 190 this year. It's a difference of 9%. Now, what's the difference? Why do we have 190 new listings January through March, but yet we have 281 that were active on the market for the month of March? Well, the difference is some of these that were active actually carried over from 2024, which means they've been sitting on the market for a little bit of time. So we've had about 90 homes that have carried over from 2024 into 2025. All right. So that's basically what I wanted to cover today. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to share the report with you or go into it in a little bit more detail if you'd like me to. The reason that I'm doing this report is because I wanted to just share the factual information that's out there, because we get these questions about what's happening with the market. Well, here it is. This is what's happening in the city of Tulare for the month of March. And people want to know, is now a good time to buy or sell? And I like to answer that question by saying that it really depends on your personal situation as to whether it's a good time for you to buy or for you to sell. And so I would be happy to sit down with you to learn about your situation, to merge that with what's going on with the market, and to help you make a determination of whether now is a good time for you to buy or sell. And I'll do that with no pressure and no obligation. So just reach out if you want that, or reach out if you would like to see this report for a different city. I'm happy to provide that as well. Again, my name is Lori Dunnigan. I'm your local realtor here in Tulare County with Keller Williams.